bomber, Terry Bradshaw.
Did you compare him to Kevin White, Alex?
I wouldn't put that label on him because I do think he's better than Kevin. So, I mean, Ohio State receiver, you could essentially end the evaluation and the analysis there because that coaching and what they do with wide receivers at Ohio State is awesome.
I don't give a damn how young he is. We are not leaving out Patrick Mahomes. You're the young goat.
Right.
The young goat. What's good, you two? We back. How you doing today, Alex?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. It's a normal Thursday that we're here and we're ready to talk some football, so I'm ready to have a good time with that. But in the meantime, I've got some crazy ass weather going on here. I don't know about you guys. So right before I came on the show, we were out back chasing the pillows off our cushions from our patio furniture out there because we've got some crazy winds going on right now. Hoping this tree in the backyard doesn't fall down.
Oh man, that's messed up.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Let's bring up my guy, Sean. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right. How you doing? Recover from our long first round of the draft already? Ready to talk the rest now?
I'm always ready to talk rookies.
Yeah. Well, what you think of how far Shador fell?
I mean, hey, I have mixed feelings about it, but as I don't think a job is just, supposed to be given to you. It's still a job. It's not your job until you get it. That's what I will say.
Oh, yeah, but talent-wise, I think he should have at least – somebody should have taken him before the third round was done. That was just ridiculous how far he fell. So just clearly trying to send some type of message. And then you got Gary Jones today saying this offensive lineman that they drafted specifically to stop Jalen Carter. And he hasn't given up a sack in 3 years. Well, you know what happened 4 years ago? He played Jalen Carter a couple times, and he had 3 sacks, and that was the last time he gave up sacks. And Jalen Carter's been in the NFL for 3 years, so you didn't get a Jalen Carter stopper. You just got a guy who's going to let Jalen Carter run right by him every time. Pretty interesting.
How you feel about it, Alex?
What's up?
How do you feel about the Shador situation?
I don't think it made a ton of sense from everything that I was scouting and pre-combine and all the discussions Sean and I had about him. I thought for sure he was going in the first round, and I was hoping that he'd fall to Pittsburgh. And then when he was there, I was like, oh, Pittsburgh has to do it, right? They don't have a quarterback. And then he didn't go there. And then the second round picks came up and he didn't go there. And I'm like, okay, well, at this point, I'm starting to wonder, is he even going to get drafted? Maybe he's telling teams not to draft him so he could pick a spot. But it was crazy. And then finally the Browns just pulled the trigger at the 5th. I was surprised.
I almost thought Jerry had the Eagles to get him too.
Yeah. I was a little surprised too that Jerry didn't step in there and go just as a favor to Dion, like, hey, like, I know this is embarrassing for you. Let me just step in and save you. But that didn't happen either, which maybe that tells you something about Dallas.
A lot of questions going on there, but I'm gonna be honest. It's not like I had a high first round grade on him. I mean, I had a grade that he could be drafted in the first round, but it just wasn't. It wasn't a given. So,
right.
No, and I didn't have it as a given either. But like, definitely by the second round, I thought at the top of the second would be for sure where he was going, and they didn't pick him there. Cleveland started out they went with running back there with Quayshawn Jukins.
Yep.
Was that the pick? Yeah.
He was 36 before they went corner for 33.
Okay. Well, they went, yeah. So you knew right then that they weren't going quarterback at all, because if they're it was going to be with their first pick in that second round. So, and then the Raiders then traded back. So you're like, okay, well, they're not taking them in the second. So it just seemed like crazy to me. But Dion, maybe all his talk on saying certain teams that he wouldn't allow his son to go play for, probably scared a lot of teams off. Him saying that he wanted to coach his son in the NFL, probably, again, scared a lot of teams off. And then you got Shador himself with his legendary Brandon that he's doing for himself that probably rubs a lot of teams the wrong way too.
You got to play the game. You got to play the game before you get into the game. And he didn't play the game. I mean, he wanted to be himself, and that's cool. But it's going to be a different path if you don't care to play the game within the game.
Well, do you think it's that he didn't want to play the game, or that his dad misled him, and that he should have done combine stuff to prove himself?
Well, no, I don't think that combine stuff don't mean nothing because he threw at his pro day, so that don't mean nothing. Is that, when I hear stuff about the interviews, I mean, you want to act like you want the job. Don't act like they're lucky to have you. Act like you want the job, and and I'm like I said, I don't want to just throw it on him, but I'm just saying that's where he went wrong. At the end of the day, you got to make sure things sold up on your part. So act like you want the job. Be gracious anytime a team is giving you an interview. Be humble. That's what you want to project. And once you get in, be who the F you want to be. Who you want to be. If you want to be Heckle and Jive, or Heckle and Hyde, you want to turn into the Jekyll, go for it. But make sure you secure getting what you're trying to get. You trying to get in that first round, play the first round game.
Yep, I would completely agree with that. Well said, sir.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, there's still 6 spots for the mock draft that can be taken. Link is in the comments. It's also on X under the show name. If you're in one of Goody's leagues, I know I posted them in the 2 leagues that I'm in. I don't know if he went and copied and pasted it and did it the other ones or not, but that's where you can get it. If you want to join it, there's still some spots, so claim your spot now. We'll probably be starting that in about 20-25 minutes or so. So what else you guys been up to?
Well, getting a quote on a swimming pool, and that process is long and tedious, and it looks like I'm going to have to add more. If I want one, there's other stuff that I'm going to have to do to make that happen. So that's going to be a long, drawn-out process that might not be happening as soon as I had hoped.
Oh, underground or overground?
In ground. Being blind, I don't want to have to worry about messing with liners and maintaining the pool itself also on top of checking the chemicals and all that stuff. So I want to try to make it easy, and in ground seems to be the way to go there.
Oh yeah, it's way easier.
I don't think I can even dig that far in my backyard. So I don't think I would have the choice.
Yep.
That's
when you get the big jackhammer out and just.
No, I'm saying, but I think the lines. I think it's like 4 feet deep or something like that. So it's like I can't go that deep as I would want to go. So
oh yeah, because everything's just right there up at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be one of the things is I might have to move my propane line that they just put in a couple of years ago.
We need to put the link in the chat.
In this chat?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
you could drop it in our show.
Copy link. I thought I did a different way, but I guess I didn't.
Yeah, someone was asking about where the link is, so.
All right, they're posting the link now.
Yeah,
all right. Well, you guys want to get in and talk about our favorite rookie landing spots?
Yeah, sleeper spots. Sneaky good.
Well, sleeper, just favorite 3. They just had to be. They couldn't be all 3 from the same round. That was the only caveat that we had for this. So, I don't know who wants to start out, but
Terrence, you want to start us out?
Favorite spot. Oh, first off, I do have to give a shout out to the player that will help me win this bet. And we should have put a clip up. We put the clip up of the bet. Trey Harris went to a nice landing spot with the Chargers, and I like that. I like that. That's setting up for Good to have to be shirtless. Go shirtless that episode.
Yeah, we'll have to clip that and get it up on our socials so we can check that out, share that. It's gonna be a fun bet to see fulfilled.
Oh, it's already out there on X on the Good Network's X channel there after the show, man. So don't worry, it's out there for all to see.
Yeah.
All right,
So if anyone didn't see and they have no clue what I'm talking about, me and Goode, when we was doing the live draft on show, he was talking about his guy is
Jimmy
it
Horn.
Jimmy Horn Jr. Jimmy Horn Jr. And I was just like shaking my head, and I was like, "Wow, I bet you that he won't outscore Trey Harris, because that's my guy." So we was doing my guy against his guy, and Sean came up with the bet. We go shirtless. I guess the episode before the playoff, whoever player scores the least amount of points got to go shirtless for the episode. So, I mean, hey, right now it's setting up for me to win easily because, oh boy, I don't know what draft cap, but you got sixth round.
Sixth round.
He will have to fight that depth chart.
Yes, he.
But he went to Carolina, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's not a hard depth chart to climb.
It's true. True. At the same time, true and false, because I don't think he's better than what's that? Coker. I don't think he's better than Coker. They got to throw Leggett on the field. They just drafted Tech, so I mean, we'll see.
And they still got Adam Thielen.
And Adam, I forgot about him. And Adam Thielen. So yeah,
and have to fight. And they just signed Hunter Renfrew too.
So guess what? If he do get the playing time, that lets you know how good he is. Now if you start seeing him out there, you got to respect every bit of you seeing him out there. I'll tell you that.
Yep.
All right, Alex, you want to give it your first guy?
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of some depth charts that we've got that might have easy climbing, I got Elik Iyaminor going to Tennessee, where his competition to lead directly in front of him is Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett. Lockett could barely get on the field last year in Seattle. So I like Elik Iyaminor to have himself some good volume and a chance pretty early in his career to gel with Cam Ward coming in at the same time. And that's one thing that I've also liked so far in our last couple of drafts. We've had rookies come in together between a quarterback and a pass catcher, whether it be tight end receiver, and they start working early in the offseason and start to build that chemistry early, so you don't have that buildup like you do with some of these rookies joining veteran quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I've always thought that was a good thing for teams to do. Being a Niners guy, like they've always done that. As soon as they take a quarterback, they take a wide receiver to grow with them, right, and learn the game together. So I like that Tennessee took him. They took him, and who's the other wide receiver they took? Do you remember?
It was a later guy, right? It wasn't. Was it Prother? Was that it? No, that was Buffalo.
I think so. I'll look it up here.
So what about you? Who's one of your favorite?
Well, let me just Dyke from Florida. God damn it.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
It happens.
I hate that NFL. Yeah, well, for me, one guy that I really like is Woody Marks, going to Texans from USC. I think he's going there. He's not going to be much maybe this year, but dynasty-wise, he's a guy I'm going to bring stashing on the bench. He's got the same sort of play style as Joe Mixon, and he's going to be learning from actually Joe Mixon. So, he's the eventual replacement for him. And if Joe goes down, he's going to get his shot this year. So I like Woody Marks. Don't know what you guys think about him.
I like him as well. I think he's going to be a great pass catching back. He's one of those guys that you could actually line up in the slot. He can run receiver routes if you want him to. I like his opportunity there.
Yeah, Terrence. I'll tell you one thing. Terrence doesn't like about him is he's got the 4th round draft capital.
True. Not just 4th round, but late 4th round too, if I remember correctly. It was like the 36th or 37th pick.
Well, for a backup, he's fine. And just know that 4th round pick can be replaced easily, because Damian Pierce is also a 4th round pick, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. Sure was.
Yep.
Around the same spot too. So good call there.
Yeah. Who's your second guy, Terrence?
My second guy. We're gonna go to Alex first. I gotta figure out who
Okay.
my second guy is.
Well, you talked about that Trey Harris landing spot with the Chargers. I'm going to stick with the Chargers, and I'm going to go to the tight end spot. So early, Sean and I mocked that they were going to go with Colston Loveland. They didn't have that opportunity because he went so early, but they did go Arande Gatson in the 5th round. And with tight ends, draft capital doesn't matter as much because we've seen some late round tight ends. George Kittle, who just got paid, was a 5th round tight end as well. And landing with the Chargers, that depth chart is also slim at the tight end position. And Jim Harbaugh loves himself some tight ends. Gatson's one of those guys that is athletic. He can hit the seam route. And I think he's going to be a good friend to Justin Herbert over the middle for that Chargers offense this year.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you can't go wrong going to a Jim Harbaugh team if you're a tight end. He's going to make sure you're in there in the game, getting your opportunities.
Absolutely.
But usually tight ends that get picked late, they don't rush them out there. So I don't know when we'll see from him.
Yeah, that's where I think the depth chart helps him in his favor. There's not an established, immediate, has to be out there guy. So I think he's got a chance to compete for that position early.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Like he's got Will Disley ahead of him, and I couldn't even tell you who else is there anymore.
Right.
No,
got a guy,
for my
Terrence?
second guy. Yeah. So my second guy, since I could not pick again out the same round, I'm going to pick his teammate, Jolin Newell, wide receiver out of Iowa State that went to the Texans. Yeah, you know. So he can go ahead there and take Tank Dell's spot and go ham. So
And that's
like
exactly
that
what I thought
too.
about when they took that pick.
Yep.
As soon as they took that pick, I'm like, ooh, that's not good news for Tank Dell if they're taking him.
Yeah, and that also might just mean Tank Dell's still not healthy with that leg. It was a pretty brutal injury, a tough road to come back from.
Yeah,
So
I'd imagine
like that.
he's going to need a full year of rehab for that because that was nasty, man.
Yep.
But I really like Noel. I thought he was capable of going in the second round. But it's funny because the person he get compared to a lot went in pretty much the same spot, and that's Josh Downs. And I really liked Josh Downs when he came out.
Yeah, I really like that comp a lot, actually. Get open real quick in the short area and then make something happen with the ball in his hands. That's a nice fit right there.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I guess it's on to me.
Yep.
I'm going with the Raiders guy here, which just seems like an Al Davis pick, and Dante Thornton Jr. He's got some big size, a lot of speed. He's going to be that deep ball that the Raiders like to throw, and I think as a rookie, he's going to produce like pretty decent numbers, probably 800 to 900 yards and 5 to 7 touchdowns. So I really like him. I like the landing spot. There's not much there ahead of him on the depth chart, so he's got a clear opportunity to be in starter material right off the hop.
I like that.
Go ahead, Alex.
Go ahead, Terry. So I was going to say that pick right there reminds me of where Henry Ruggs maybe should have gone. And this guy could be what they were hoping Henry Ruggs could be, and they're getting it at a much better value, I think. 6'3",
And I screwed
4'3"
up there
speed.
looking at my sheet. I picked 2 from the 4th round.
I like what you said. Yeah, Sean. Yeah, you messed up. but yeah, when they picked Betch, what I thought he went kind of high. I mean, second round, I was like, that don't seem like who they need. I said they already have Myers. That feels like another Myers. I was like, they need speed. And when he got him, I was like, okay, now y'all putting it together. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll go to my last one here. I'm going to the 7th round. This guy's a backup quarterback, but he's going to get opportunities this year just because of who's in front of him. I'm going to the Dolphins, taking Quentin Ewers from Texans. And he's going to be able, if he can learn that offense of the Dolphins, he's going to be able to just slide right in. He's plays on the same type of timing and rhythm that Tua likes to play on. And I've been saying this all off season to Alex on our podcast that they need to go out and get a quarterback that they can just slide right in there. And Quentin Ewers was one of the guys I said that they should target, and that they actually went out and got him. So I love this pick for them.
I would agree with that. And the value in the 7th round, you're making sure you get him instead of letting him potentially slip to undrafted and having to fight with all the other teams to get him there. And like you said with Tua, he's had injuries every year of his career, going back to his college years as well. So he's gonna miss time. It's just a matter of can Ewers perform in that position to keep the Dolphins on track for those games Tua misses.
Yep.
What you think, Terrence? Got any thoughts on Quinn Ewers to the Dolphins?
I'm not a fan of Quentin Ewers, so I mean, whatever. I mean, I can't tell you who all is on the Dolphins as for a backup quarterback. Do you know who's on the depth chart? Or do I need to look it up?
They keep recycling backups. Last year it was Tyler Huntley, and they recycled
they
him. He
traded
ended up
for
back
him.
and then he went back to Baltimore, I believe.
And they had Mike White for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
So
so Quentin Ewers would be battling Zach Wilson.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so
And
that's
Quentin Ewers is QB2.
I like Zach Wilson. I ain't saying that. I think the Jets are just bad luck. I like Zach Wilson.
Okay, what about he couldn't even beat out Bo Nix, who was a rookie, and he couldn't even beat out Jarrett Stidham for second place.
Whoa. I ain't say I like him more than Bo Nix, but you know.
Well, what about Jarrett Stidham? Because he couldn't even beat out him for QB2.
See, I think they was just messing with that man. You know, I haven't even seen Stedham play in years.
There's always the Zach Wilson excuses, man. All these Zach Wilson truthers always have excuses. He needs to stop screwing.
I never knew there was Zach Wilson.
Concentrate on football.
I never knew there was some Zach Wilson truthers.
Oh, they're out there still.
Group. That's
one of them is a close personal friend of mine, and he still believes it.
Yep. So on that note, we're talking Miami. My last pick is also with Miami, and it's what they did in the 6th round, taking Ollie Gordon. And is a guy that Oklahoma State 2 years ago looked absolutely phenomenal. Last year, I think that the offensive line and the team surrounding him was so bad that it really tanked his numbers. But the other thing I like about Gordon here to Miami is that he's 6'2", 220, and he is completely different than everything else on the roster. So I'm wondering if Mike McDaniels is looking to maybe switch up his play style, since, Sean, you believe he might be the first coach fired this year, right? So with that, he might have to change up his style, since this all speed at every position doesn't seem to be working for them as it starts changing weather and getting colder for the games. So give me Olive Gordon. Olive Gordon. That's a nickname right there. Give me Ollie Gordon.
The Olive Garden.
Yep. So
that's what we'll call Ollie Gordon from now on. The Olive Garden.
Yep.
And I like Ollie Gordon.
See, I got you doing it now.
Yeah, I had him rated high, but that's a weird fit on the Dolphins. I was like, well, that don't feel like a Dolphins running back, but he'll be fine. They usually like faster running backs in that system, but he should be fine.
That's why I think that change of pace and that size, I think they're gonna like it when it gets later in the season. That speed's not necessarily working the same, but you got Gordon running at you hard, just beating up that defense.
You go to one game in New England in the snow, or one game to the Jets in the snow, and you put a chance out there and his speed's neglected because of the cold, and then you put Ollie Gordon out there and he's just going to start thumping people where that cold's going to hurt them because he's smashing them in the mouth. That's going to change their minds on a lot of things.
That's what I'm thinking.
Who's your last guy, Terrence?
My last guy was drafted in the 7th round, 12th pick to the Kansas City Chiefs, Brashard Smith. I did really like Brashard Smith, and it's not like it's hard for him. Should be that hard for him to make it up the depth chart if Pacheco not coming in and handling his business and look like he did last year. He that could be touches for other people. Kareem Hunt is getting over the hill. You got Elijah Mitchell that we haven't seen play in a long time, and then Carson Steele. So Brashard Smith can definitely make his way up that depth chart.
You know, Terrence,
I agree.
The other thing I like about that call is, could he be that Jerick McKinnon role when Jerick McKinnon had all that success in that passing game towards the end of the season a couple of years ago?
Could be. He definitely, he's a converted wide receiver so a lot of people was picking him to be the Tracy of this year, pre-draft. So we will see.
I could see it. I like that. Sean, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I tell you, being a Pacheco owner in a lot of leagues, I'm pretty nervous, not necessarily about Rashad Smith coming up behind him, but just anybody really, because of that leg injury. He didn't look the same last year in the playoffs, and that obviously he came back way too early. Was worried about his job, whatever. He came back, but now with this time, we'll have to see what that looks like come preseason, if he looks the same or if he looks like he did in the playoffs. And if he looked like he did in the playoffs, it's going to be really easy to pass him.
Right, and they brought Kareem Hunt back pretty early in the offseason as well. So, they like him, and Hunt took over the job from Pacheco at the end of the season last year in the playoffs.
Yeah, we got a comment here. The question is trade question. I have the 1.01, have a trade in progress. I would be trading the 1.01 and Leggett for the 1.05, Nico, and he has Stroud. Do I trade down for the stack, or do I get Genty or Judkins, or keep one, or Henderson, I guess, and Judkins, or keep one?
I kind of like the drop back to 5 there myself, and adding Nico Collins. The question to me is that enough? Dropping back 4 spots and picking up Nico Collins, is that enough for Genty, do you guys think?
And he giving up Leggett. I mean, that's not a huge, but he giving up.
Right, maybe ask him to throw in a second.
Fall down.
I almost feel like there should be one more little piece in there.
Yeah, and an early second probably.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But
I know I tried to make a trade.
At 5, you're still getting one of those top guys. So that could
for
be
sure.
a
Probably you're getting Judkins or Henderson for sure there. One of them was faulty at 5.
Right. Now, when you factor that in, the drop off from Genty to Henderson, you don't know how big that's going to be, but that difference between Nico Collins and Xavier Leggett's pretty big.
Yeah, try to get something strong in there. Why not?
Yeah, it's not. If you're not a Genty believer, I would trade back. I don't know. The Raiders didn't do too well with Josh Jacobs there, but you got Pete Carroll, who's a better run coordinator than what Josh Jacobs had to deal with in his time there, and the coach carousel.
Yep, I would agree.
But if the person not willing to throw a second round in there, just get them at least. Hey, we'll throw a third in there, and we call it a deal. If they deny the second, we'll just throw a third in there. We call it a deal.
I completely agree.
No, all right. Second, just throw the third. All right, it's a deal.
All right, second, okay, just make it a third. It's fine. I'll take a third then. Just make me feel better here.
So we still have 5 spots left in the mock. I don't know if you wanted to start it with those and let the computer draft.
I don't trust that computer. I do not trust
that computer. Gets dicey sometimes.
Yeah, I know, but it's also mock draft time. So shall we start it, or what's that?
Yeah, I'm
trying to get to it. All right.
All right. Well, Chris, if you're out there, are you ready? Oh, yeah, he just commented. Here's what he says. Pacheco, Hunt, Smith, the rookie, any 3 running backs can win the main job. So he's on board with that. So let me press the start button. Hopefully if people can come in, join these spots.
Did you put me as the admin or something? Why are they asking me to start the draft?
What? Okay, Chris is on the clock with the 1.01 pick. Let's see what he does. I think he's going GNT because I don't see any other path to a 1.01 in any styles, really, other than IDP, where you can get Travis Hunter and get the double points.
Sets. Oh, there's the sleeper noise.
You sent so many mock drafts. I'm having a hard time even getting to the link you sent. Let me go to this link that's in there in the show.
So I believe Sean had the second pick.
Yep. So he's up. I know he wanted GNT because he told me that. Oh, there he goes. So I'm going to take who I'm going to take. He went GNT. I'm going Omar Hampton with the second overall pick, and this is super flex. So we have GNT and Hampton
over
off
Cam
the board.
Ward.
Yes, like I said, I'm not a Cam Ward believer. I don't see it. Cam Ward went 1.3. Travis Hunter went 4 to the computer. Tet McMillan 5th to you, Alex.
So Tet went 5. So I will go Quinshon Judkins to Cleveland because I think he steps in and operates similar to what we saw from Nick Chubb in Cleveland. I think he almost steps into that role immediately, especially with the early round draft capital. So give me Quinshon Judkins at 6.
All right, that's who you got. 2 computer picks, and Goody says he's going to be drafting. So we see. We wait on him. And what the other pick was, we went Judkins, Henderson, Caleb Johnson from the Steelers, but Henderson and Johnson were computer picks.
Is this supposed to be tight end premium?
No, just super flex.
Okay.
That being said, would you take either of those tight ends over either of those 2 picks at 7 and 8?
Not at
If
all.
it was tight end premium?
Even if it was tight end premium, I'm out on these tight ends this year. I'm good. Not in the first round anyway, that's what I'm saying.
I could see it. Especially, like I said when we did our tight end episode, I think that the last 2 years of tight end rookies has spoiled us to thinking that rookie tight ends can step in and perform right away. I think those guys are the exception, not the rule. It's really hard for rookies to come in and adapt. So that's one of the things that made what they did so special.
So Emeka Ibuka went there on a timeout. So Goody must still be busy. And then we had RJ Harvey was taken.
At 10 then?
Yep. And then Tyler Warren, computer.
He's going to go before that in rookie drafts. Watch.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I just did a rookie draft, and he went 1.8.
Definitely.
Jalen Dart at the 12 position, and we're back to the top of the 2.
Yeah, I'm not going to let a quarterback get out there. You know, if I'm getting a quarterback that was drafted in the first round that I know going to become a starter, you got to get on my team at the 112. Go ahead. Come on.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you're the champion and they're just going to let a starting quarterback fall to your roster. Why wouldn't you take him there?
I'm glad y'all caught that because I put myself at 12 for a reason. I just want to let y'all know.
Practice for all your leagues. And then Jaden Higgins started us off at the top of the 2nd.
I like that
all
too.
Right. So it is my pick.
So what you looking to do here at the 202?
Me? I don't know. I'm just kind of going. I'm assuming if I'm 202, I need everything here. But I don't really like the wide receiver too much. So I'm going to go Cam Scipito.
Oh, Scatterboo.
Yeah, Cam Scataboo from the Giants. Second pick.
I wish he
like
would
that.
have got third round draft capital, but he went to a landing spot that he can go ahead and take over though.
Yep, I
Well,
would
he's a
agree with
goddamn
both of those
ball,
sentiments.
man. So then we had Jalen Noel, Colson
Okay.
Loveland,
Ooh,
and Bashad Tootin.
Oh, Bashal Tootin.
Noel and Tootin, that's high. Ooh,
Yeah, I thought so too. Well, so I'm picking here in the middle of the second, and this is where I start to look at these things, and I'm gonna look at Jalen Milroe right here, and that's gonna be my pick because if I'm picking in the middle of the second, I can afford to wait a little bit for my quarterback. If Darnold struggles, I think that Milroe can get in there and take over the job. It could be like a Lamar Jackson, Joe Flacco situation where
wow.
Seattle also has an out right after this season. So I wouldn't put it past also potentially being that Matt Flynn, Russell Wilson situation where you pay the guy, but the rookie performs better than you expect. And Russell Wilson was also a third round pick.
Yeah, well, we had after Milroe's pick, we had Golden went, Luther Burton at the 8 spot. Those were computer picks. Goody took Shadir Sanders, and we are waiting on the 10 pick still.
He must have set a cue because George shouldn't have went this high. He must have set a cue.
He must have. He said he was going to be drafting, so, but he just said he couldn't make the live show tonight.
All right, Mr. R.J. Harvey, what you we gonna do? Away? You look like you away from the keyboard.
Oh, he went Dylan Sampson.
Oh, why Trey Harris always go
Trey
right
Harris.
So, of course, being a champion, I gotta take the best available player, and I gotta think about what my league mates may need. Now, they went after this quarterback, but these are quarterbacks that probably won't start. Let me go after the quarterback that most likely will start this season. So,
Mr. Tyler Shook in New Orleans.
yep.
Followed up by Herrero in Seattle, the tight end.
Oh, yeah, Elijah Arroyo. I like that pick too.
And I'm going to go Terrence Ferguson. I liked that pick too much by the Rams to pass him up, not to pass him up here.
That's a great value there at 302.
Yep. I couldn't look past. There's the other guys I wanted there, and then that was followed up by Mason Taylor. 2 computer picks were Devin Neal and Harold Fannin Jr. And we're on to you.
Fannin Jr. is who I was looking at there in the third. So let's see where I would like to go. Shoot. Did I miss a Matthew Golden pick?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. I just didn't remember hearing his name. So let's see. How about Jalen Royals in Kansas City? I'll take Terrence's guy there.
All right. Jalen Royals it is. Followed up by 2 computer picks and Gabriel and Ewers. And then Jaden Blue from the Cowboys. So he definitely set a cue. Because he took his Cowboy, but I love that pick in Jaden Blue. And then Kyle Williams that went to the Patriots, followed up by Ollie Gordon, and we're on to Terrence.
So when it comes to this pick, I'm really have to go after draft capital. Betch was drafted in the second round. It's not like I'm a huge fan, but hey,
could be opportunity there too, at least.
Yeah, if he show out or have one game, I can go ahead and flip him for at least the second round. So that'll be, I'll make me some equity.
I like
All right.
it. I like it.
Josh Beck. Now we're on to the 4th round here. I'm going to get the guy that I almost took over Ferguson. Yeah, DJ Giddens went to start the 4th.
You think there's any chance that he takes that job? Say Jonathan Taylor has one of those ankle injuries he has, and then Giddens gets in there and just takes it?
Takes it? What you mean take it? You mean you warm the seat and tell Jonathan Taylor come back?
Well, no, let's say that injury happens late in the season, say 6 games. Let's say Taylor misses the last 6 games and Giddens comes in. and he does well enough, there's an out in Jonathan Taylor's contract after this season. Do you think that there's any chance they take that, save the cap space, and just move on with Giddens?
Could be, definitely. I mean, who else is there on the depth chart? Definitely.
So I took Dante Thornton Jr. there. That was followed up by Alec Aminar, Will Howard,
Oh, there goes
and
my
then
guy.
Kyle Rourke.
All right, so is that to me then?
Yep.
Okay, so I will go Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, running back drafted by the Washington Commanders, could be the backfield mate to Brian Robinson Jr. And give me a piece of a good offense. And the guy has explosiveness and speed. I like it. So got a good offense. I think he's somebody that could work out. And 4th round pick, you're throwing darts. So why not?
Yeah, that was followed up by 2 computer picks in Greg Helm and the guy that you liked from the Chargers, Gatson.
Oh, yeah, Rondé Gatson.
Yeah, and we're
Nice
on to
value there,
Goody,
too.
and he's back off auto, so he's actually maybe making this pick. Let's see what it does.
He probably he had to set a cue. He probably like all them people because it looked like he liked all them people he picked. Because Ibuku, I think he liked Ibuku. He definitely liked Shador. Blue is drafted by his team, the Cowboys. So let's see who he picked. His boys on the board, Jimmy Horn Jr. Come on. Come on. Don't play no games.
Yeah, well, maybe he does go that. I'd be surprised if he doesn't. Lots of ways you can go. There's a lot of depth in this draft.
There really is. So I was lucky enough to have 2 rookie drafts that kicked off already. And between those 2, there's undrafted free agents out there that I'm putting bids on.
So he got Michael Evans from Notre Dame that went to the Panthers.
Okay.
That was followed up by Bryant that went to the Broncos, Kyle McCord to the
Bryant.
Eagles, and then now we're on to Terrence for the final pick in the mock draft.
Bring us home, buddy.
So this guy right here didn't do as much as far as production-wise, but has a lot of traits that you would like, and he went to a good offense. So he went in the 3rd round to the Detroit Lions. So Tesla, come on down, man. Have a lot of traits, very athletic, one of the most athletic players in this draft. Might be the exact 2nd most athletic. So
should have known you were going to like Isaac Tesla. He's a speed guy.
Hey, tall too. I want you to get everything.
So that's mock draft, fellas. What do you think? What do you think were your favorite picks there?
Oh man, I love my picks. Love my picks. I'm going to trade them away.
It's always the way, man.
Yep. I like a lot of those picks. I like seeing Ollie Gordon at the back of the 3rd too. That's good value. I like that spot. He's one I've seen fall to the 4th round also. And then I
wish
I think this draft is going to be wild from draft league to league, because after you get out of that top 5, but that next group is so close together that people have them many different ways. So it'll go wild. Even those top 5 after Gianti, that next 4 can even be in any mix.
Now, if y'all want, I can show y'all a draft that actually just happened that I just did, a rookie draft we just finished. I don't know if y'all want to do that, but
why not?
I wish Trey Harris would have fell to me. He didn't go that late.
I know.
In my
Why don't we quickly go team by team here and think what we think of each draft pick for each one? We'll skip the computer ones because I know Goody likes to do that when he does mock drafts, just to kind of stick on his brand. So we'll go into the 1 pick. We had Chris KP picking there. He started out with Aston Gianti in the 1st, Jalen Higgins in the 2nd, Herrero, the tight end of the Seahawks, in the 3rd, and DJ Giddens from Indianapolis in the 4th.
Not bad at all for being the 1st pick of every round there.
Well, I think getting Gianti and Higgins and Herrero's a top tight end, that's at least an A draft right there.
I would have picked Trey Harris at that spot. He picked Higgins, but that's just me. I got a love for Trey Harris.
That's also what
the-
Sean's talking about too. It's where these drafts are going to be so different. Because if you're both picking at that spot, you're both going to go the way that you guys want to go. So there's so many flavors in this draft. It's what do you like?
Yeah, you have to get your guy because he won't come back. The tiers are that big. And then the next one was me. I had the 2 pick. I skipped on Cam Ward. I went Omar Hampton. Followed that up with Cam Scattaboo. Followed that up with Terrence Ferguson to the Rams. And I finished off with Dante Thornton Jr. for the Raiders.
You have to like
I like-
Scatterboo if you picked him at the 202. I had a chance to pick Scatterboo in my league, and I told you how much I love Scatterboo, but I did not draft him, and I had the 203 and 204. I didn't draft him because I didn't like that he didn't get the draft capital I liked. So, it was 2 other players I thought can carry more weight as far as dynasty value there. So that's why I didn't go there. And I usually in a non-tight end premium league, I probably wouldn't even draft tight end. I probably either I'm going big or go home. It's going to be one of the best tight ends. I'll probably grab one off the waiver wire.
Yep.
Yeah, well,
Or
I
you
think
could
Terrence
pick up
Ferguson's the
that
third
rookie
best
when they
tight end
cut
in
him.
this class right now.
I like
And we
him.
know McVay loves the tight end. He just hasn't had one he could use.
Yeah, and now he does. We'll move on to the 3rd pick. Started off with Cam Ward. 2nd round, Jalen Noel. 3rd round, Mason Taylor, tight end of the Jets. And the 4th round, Edekler Anor. How do you say that? The Titans guy.
Iliki Yamanor.
Yeah.
And that's a solid draft there, too.
Yeah, I would agree.
Solid picks.
And at the 3rd pick, I think that's a spot that Cam Ward could go to because if it's not Omarion Hampton at 2, it could also be Tep McMillan.
I don't think I wouldn't have paced Mason Taylor. I don't think he might, get played this first season, but is he ever gonna be a fantasy needle mover? And so I would have probably rather go Fannin. I would have took Fannin over him.
You have
All
any
right.
concern about Fannin with Njoku there in Cleveland too?
Of course, but you're going to go straight to my taxi squad and sit there until you get an opportunity.
You
Yeah,
sit there and think
okay.
about what you have to do.
We'll move on to the 6th pick, which was Alex. He started it with Quaycon Jukins, running back for Cleveland. Jalen Milroe, quarterback, Seattle. Jalen Royals, wide receiver for the Chiefs. And the running back for Washington.
I was surprised he picked the running back in Washington. I think that might have been someone you could have got off the waivers, but at the end of the day, it's the 4th round, so it don't matter. But Milroe, that definitely was a pick your guy pick. I would be probably frightened to pick Milroe and I knew I already knew because I said pre-draft that if Milroe don't get the draft capital, it'll be hard for me to pull the trigger on him, and I wouldn't know when to pull the trigger on him. He'll probably go before I ever could pull the trigger. So, and he went before Golden and Luke Burton. I love Burton. So
solid first 3 picks, though, Alex. Solid first 3.
This is one of those things
I do
too.
agree with Terrence. You could have waited on the running back for waiver wire.
Probably should have. And this is one of those things too why I don't like the 1 minute play clock because I like to think about my picks. And if I got a minute, I don't get to do that.
You're also not used to it.
Yes, that too.
So next we move on to Goody's queued team and a couple picks. We got Emeka Ibuka that started with the 9th spot. Shadir Sanders, quarterback for Cleveland. Jalen Blue, running back for the Cowboys. And followed up with Michael Evans, tight end for Panthers.
I'm gonna get it on Goody. I'm gonna get on him. You picked the quarterback that was picked in the 6th round over Trey Harris. What is going on? What is going on?
Well,
and he didn't pick his guy. Get him, Terrence. Get him.
Yeah, and then we went all the way to the 4th round, and Jimmy Horn not on your team. But hey, maybe he felt like, hey, he's not going to be picked. I get up off waivers. So but I never heard him
Yeah.
mention Evans. He mentioned Fine Don or whatever Fondue. I can't remember
Fudome.
the dude's name.
Yeah, and
He go ahead.
the third slot, just I forgot to say the name was Lion Don. And we're going on to the 10th spot, which was away 89. And they started out with RJ Harvey, followed that up with Dylan Sampson, followed that up with Kyle Williams, and followed that up with Pat Bryant.
I can't get mad at none of those picks. Like,
No, I like this team too. Great job
he
there.
was hitting on the picks.
He
I
was.
might have not picked on Sampson over Trey Harris, but he was hitting on them picks. So
Yeah. And then we'll move on to Terrence's team. Started out with the 12th seed with Jackson Dart, followed that up with Tyler Schuck, followed that up with Jack Beck, and followed that up with Tesla.
Yeah, I like this one too. And getting 2 quarterbacks out of it, which in Superflex, turned into gold.
Yeah, and
Even
2
if they're-
guys, I don't
quarterbacks
even like.
in the champion
I don't
position.
even like Shuck. I don't like Shuck. I don't like Betch. This is just me just picking value. I do not like neither one of them guys, and I'm gonna trade it to you as soon as they do something. I'm trading them to y'all, and you gonna take them.
Did you want to call up that draft, Terrence, and we can review a separate one?
Yeah. Do I have the ability to share? Yeah. So let's go find it.
All right. Well, you're getting ready. Let's look at this comment here. D Lion King says, as a Steelers fan, the Browns be the Browns. And yep, the Browns be the Browns.
Facts.
I say that all the time. Trash organization.
gonna Brown.
Trash for a reason.
Yep.
Brown going to Brown.
Mhm.
All right,
All right,
people. So this is a rookie draft that just happened, just finished up yesterday. Like, matter of fact, it started and finished yesterday. Even though we had 4 hours on the clock, people started and got through with it.
Oh man,
It
rookie
was-
fever
yeah.
going on there.
Oh, definitely. And it comes from we actually did a startup of a couple months ago, but in the startup you was able to draft the rookie picks.
Yeah.
So we just end up doing the rookie draft now. So that's
Nice.
why it's not the same team. You have different people owning the picks, and I end up getting the 2, 3, and 2, 4. So I only had 2 picks out this whole draft. And Trey Harris, the guy I wanted, went right in front of my pick. And I thought about trying to negotiate a trade, but I just like, you know what? I'm gonna let it be. I'm gonna let it be.
Yeah.
And I picked Luther Burden and Higgins. And Scatterbo is one of my guys, but I was just like, I'm just gonna pick these 2 guys. And I don't need any more wide receivers. I'm deep on wide receivers. It's running back I need. It's just that my guy didn't get the draft capital I usually like to feel comfortable with a running back.
See, and
I'm
you
surprised
just
you
brought
didn't take Speedy Tootin there.
Tootin got fourth round draft capital, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Same as Scattaboo. They were like 2 picks
He's
apart.
not guaranteed to do anything on TV. I don't know why people love them some Tootin, but man, you got to beat Etienne, who was drafted in the first round, and then Tank Busy that was drafted in the third. You really hoping that they don't show nothing in camp. That's what you hope.
True, but you did hit on something there that is something that I like to bring home in all of my rookie drafts, and any draft for that matter, is drafting based on need can really get you in trouble sometimes if you're passing on better talent. One draft in particular that stood out to me was that Justin Jefferson draft was one where Jalen Reagor got higher draft capital, so people were taking Reagor over Jefferson, and then you end up holding the bag. Reagor was out of the league within like 2 years, 3 years. Actually, he still might be floating around, but he's not getting on the field. So that's where best player available seems to be the best way to go to build your teams. You just got to have a plan with how you're going to build to fill your needs if you're not drafting them.
And don't get it twisted. A few years ago, I would have won Scatterbo, and he might, and who knows, he might hold a starting job as long as Tracy did, because he
Yep.
But what you think
So,
about the
any
draft?
surprise picks in there to you, Terrence?
Surprise pick. Wow,
I see Ollie Gordon there at the 4.1.
That's a good value.
Your guy Alex went at the very last pick. The guy with the Washington, the running
Yeah.
back. So someone picked him at
Oh,
the
so maybe
412.
Alex was right. You got to
Yeah, you
draft
might
him.
be right. And I understand, Sean. Just like you say, you got to pick your guy. I mean,
Yep.
I tried to set the draft up by tiers. I put the players in tiers, and I try to get in whatever tier to get there, whatever their
Yep.
players. So
And
Well,
that to me is the best way to draft too.
and
'Cause if you got
Shador
a bunch of
Sanders
guys
went
you
right
like.
where Goody took him. 2.9.
you see what shook? That was the best value. I tried to trade the guy for a
Holy
second round
crap.
pick.
Where'd he go?
3.2.
I sent them a trade. I was like, "Hey, you want to instantly, make money on this trade? Like, you just got him in the
Mhm.
third. You got a second for him." He read my message and ignored me.
Oh man.
Yeah, gotta like that.
Yeah.
Some people just don't trade their guys.
True. But is
Yeah.
he really your guy if you're drafting him at 3.2? Like at that point, you're just taking him because he's value, right? Because if he's your guy, you're willing to take him in the second, I would think.
Yeah, but maybe he was thinking of him between him and Trey Harris, and then he fell that far.
Yeah.
Because he went Cam Ward. Well, I guess you said they're all over the place, so you can't go by that. But it looks
Mhm.
like it's 3 quarterbacks by the same team when you go down the list. So I'm like, this guy's quarterback crazy, but I get it's different people. But yeah, I think that's what I mean. Like every draft's going to be different. Like you still got your top fives kind of the same.
Yeah.
Tet and Jude can switch spots. That's the only difference.
Tech went later than our draft. We just did, huh? He went at 106 here. I'm sure he was happy to get him. He was able to get Tech McMillan.
Yeah.
Some people loved him some Tech. That's why I'm saying that.
Mhm.
See, and if I was there and he fell to me, I'd take Henderson. I'm not a Tet believer. I think he's a trap.
I didn't, and you know me, I was on the same board with you. I didn't got him on board a little more. Because he went to a good landing spot. I think that's the perfect landing spot for him. I just was letting people know I would rather not have to draft him this year. I don't think he's going to go jump on the scene and kill it. His prototype usually take a while to get going. Might take a 1 or 2 seasons. So I would just purchase him next season. For maybe even less if he don't show what he needed to
Yep.
show this season.
I would
Yeah,
agree with
I
that.
do that
'Cause
strategy all the time. I don't think he's going to produce what that draft capital is right away, and I think someone's going to give up on him. So I'll come and get him cheaper later.
exactly, and that's just it. If you're not the one that drafted him, they're in that top 6. Or I apologize. If you are the one that drafts him there in the, like say the top 3 picks, and he's not performing that first year, you're going to be pretty pissed off because if you're picking him that high, you want him to produce now. You're drafting him as a starter now. If he's not doing that, somebody else can take advantage of that, and you can afford to wait a little bit because with that NFL draft capital, he's going to get his opportunities. Even if it's not with Carolina, he'll get them somewhere else, but he's going to get them in Carolina first.
Yeah,
'Cause
for sure.
Let's say he go out there and produce the same way because these are the same prototypes. He go out there and produce the same way Adunzi produced, or go out there and produce the same way Drake London produced his first season.
Yeah, like 700 to 800 yards.
Guess what? Hey, here's this 105 for him. You don't think the person gonna move him? Here's this 105.
Yep.
This is look next year. I think they're gonna have more quarterbacks coming out. Here's that
Yep.
105. How you feeling about
Exactly.
it? You still love him? Still love him like you did? Because I know the Morrison Harrison, even though they love them some Morrison Harrison, if I slide that 103 to him right now, I bet they're coming off of him. And they slide that 104 to him. 105 is coming off.
Not me.
They're at least thinking about it.
I paid so much for him, Terrence. I'm going down with
he
the
did.
goddamn ship. I paid the 1.3, the 1.8, the 1.10, the 1.12, and a 24 for Like the next year's
All
first.
right, Saints. You thought he was Ricky? What's his name? Ricky? What?
Ricky Williams.
Ricky Will. You thought he was Ricky Williams? God dang. All right, New Orleans Saints.
I think he's better. I think his problem's Kyler Murray, but we'll see what happens there.
Sure
So,
will.
Well,
let's
you
get
knew
to
that
one
before
more
you drafted him. So don't act like you didn't know who was his quarterback going to be.
Oh, I know. I'm not saying that. I'm just going to wait it out. I thought Kyler Murray would be done after this season, but it looks like I got to wait it out one more year.
Nah,
They got to be
Kyler
done with him
Murray
after
been
this year when he shits the
He's
bed
going to be in
again.
the league for a minute, homie. He's going to be in the league.
Not all with Arizona.
I don't know about with Arizona. I just know he's going to be in the league for a minute.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think this is like if he doesn't do something this year in Arizona, I think you'll see them move on because that'll be the third year with the new coach, and he'll be like, "No, I need to get my own guy now."
It take a lot of balls to move on. Like if your team don't have a bad season, it's hard to move off a quarterback. Good luck. You know, they got to have a bad season.
But how hard do you think it'd be to trade Kyler Murray? I don't think it'd be hard at all.
But you got to have an answer.
Trade quarterbacks. How many quarterbacks get moved? It's not, they usually get older quarterbacks usually get moved.
Well, we'll see. Don't you ruin on my parade that I'm hoping for here from Marvin.
he's wish casting.
Well, he was a winner for the draft. It's not like they drafted any wide receivers to come help. He only go get better.
Yeah. Well, you want to look at this last final comment and give her a closing thoughts?
Yeah, sounds good.
So it says, besides a top 3 pick, I'd rather trade back and get more seconds and thirds in the rookie draft. Anyone else?
100%. In fact, I just did that yesterday. I traded the 102 to get the 203, 112, and 211. So I also threw in the 311 on my side. So I gave up 102 and 311, and I got back 112, 203, and 211.
Yeah, but he's saying he would keep the top 3 pick and trade back 4 to any other first and move back even more. But I like more moving into the top 3 and getting more first in that early seconds.
Yeah, I'm about to say I don't care about the thirds. Like the thirds ain't moving the needle for me. I thought it would be more. I would like the thirds more until the running backs didn't get that much draft capital. So the thirds is not moving the needle for me. You know, the early seconds, mid seconds. You know, if you get a number of shots on them, I'm with it.
Yep, I would agree with that. What do you think, Sean?
Oh yeah, like I suggested the trade that you did. Like I didn't know what. I don't know if you did end up doing the exact trade that I said, Jim, but I was like, this is like just a thought process looking at this outlook, right? And I know
it was
that
slightly different.
That trade partner you're trading with, he always likes to trade up, but can never find a trade partner to trade up. And I'm like, so he also owned the 1.03. So now he's got the 2 and the 3 pick for trading all those later first and the early second. So I think it was just a good trade for both of us. That works for both teams too.
I agree, and that's what I was thinking, and I modified it slightly from what you had suggested. So we got there. But I'm in one of those positions. I need more picks. So.
Yeah, well, I'd like to thank everyone that joined us for the mock draft. Thanks for your help. This will be an annual one that we'll do the first show after each NFL draft. And I'll turn it over to Terrence and Alex to take us away for the evening.
Oh, and I do want to tell my people, hey, if you're not subscribed to my channel, you need to go ahead and subscribe. I did start dropping the rookie profiles. So the predictive badges that I always talk about, I mentioned all those on each rookie profile, and I done dropped 3 so far. So go check that out. Alex, what you got for us?
Subscribe to his channel, like and follow this video, all his videos. Check Sean and I out on Fantasy Blind Spot. We're there every Tuesday and Friday, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.